Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. Before I get into this review, first of all, if you would like me to kind of do a sort of series and review the other 8 episodes and 2 plug-in movies, absolutely drop a comment down below. I am more than happy to do that. But I want to make sure that you guys want to hear that. And I think that'd be a cool thing. Let's start with the visuals. I thought that the visual effects, the graphics, were amazing. There were so many rich colors in it. And it really felt powerful. It really felt like a sci-fi epic, just with all these, the blood red, the way that they did the lightsabers for this whole sequel trilogy was actually amazing, and you should absolutely look it up. They actually created the lightsabers, not actual lightsabers, but like those ones that you can buy, the Force FX, slightly better than that. But they did that so that if you don't know, the original ones in the original trilogy were literally just pieces of reflective tape on a piece of wood. One thing that I didn't like about the visual effects was the amount of lightning on Exegol. Now, I totally get why they did lightning, because it's Force lightning, or it's representative of Force lightning, and that's Palpatine, and lightning's a very frightening thing. But the amount of lightning that there was, I think it was overdone. If they had saved the lightning for, spoiler alert, even though it's been out forever, when Palpatine shoots the lightning up into the sky to knock down all the Alliance ships, if we had seen the lightning then, and then with Rey's, kind of back and forth, I think that would have been so much more powerful. I agree with a lot of the general consensus of where the hell did Palpatine come in. And I get it. He's making this secret base. He's making this secret army. I feel kind of not left out, but just not included. And it would have made the story so much better. And actually, once it came out, there was a whole bunch of things from people that, went and read the novel that they explained in the novel. And it's like, okay, why don't you show that on film? And, I totally get that Star Wars is a multimedia universe. It has to be. But that doesn't excuse it. Again, if Palpatine was alluded to slightly more, and I get that throughout the entire sequel trilogy, we had this, we had Rey constantly battling with the dark side, and I get that. I totally get that. That's the same thing, essentially Anakin went through. But I feel like Disney just kind of fell back. They said, we need a villain, Palpatine. I don't have the time to know all the Star Wars lore. I know that there are people that do, but I'm not one of them. I know a tiny bit about it, but not nearly enough. With the amount of information we received about the Sith, which the way that the Sith, I don't know exactly what you call them, but the cult is the best way that I could figure it out. The way that they were presented was very ominous, and I enjoyed it, but at the same time, I would have loved more. I would have loved if, someone read a story or something, more than just, oh, you can't translate the Sith language. When Episode 9 was announced, we knew it was going to be the end. And so I, of course, had my own theories as to how it was going to end. And although they did do the voices of the Jedi, they missed such a wonderful opportunity to do all the Force ghosts. And that would have been amazing at the end of Tatooine. At the end of the movie when they're on Tatooine. Can you imagine how beautiful that would... Just picture the end of Episode 6, where you've got Obi-Wan, Yoda, Anakin / Vader. Imagine having that but so much more. So much more. That would have made it so much better. But no, it focused on Luke and Leia, which understandably, but at the same time, why could we not have had more? I did like how they gave Leia a death. It's not exactly how I pictured it would have been. I do like how they acknowledged on screen that, unfortunately, Carrie Fisher died. And I think it was, obviously a challenge, but I think they, for the most part, got through it. It was a bit weird, but whatever. I have to say, I saw this, I don't know, somewhere, probably Reddit, which, by the way, follow me on Reddit. I saw something that said it would have been much better if they had pulled a Harry Potter and split the last movie into two. And I kind of agree. Because you have more room for the lore building. If we had seen some sort of flashback of Palpatine more so than just what we had seen in the movies, that would have been wonderful. If we had seen, Palpatine's rise to power, not as the Emperor, but as this Sith apprentice. If we had found out more about the Sith, how they got the powers, how they discovered it. And, maybe Disney is trying to, figure out these ways to do this. I want to see that content, but I want it in the movie where it becomes relevant. I don't want them to retroactively go back and be like, while I enjoyed the music, I remember reading somewhere that all music was going to be incorporated, and I didn't hear Battle of the Heroes, the theme from Revenge of the Sith. Maybe I just didn't pick up on it. If you think it was in there and you can find it, absolutely comment down below, and I'm more than happy to be like, oh yeah, it was there. I love being wrong, by the way. Let's talk for a moment about that kiss. Here's the thing. It could have been a hug. And I know that they went through and apparently after it happened they were like, oh no, it was a kiss of joy. If all the history between Rey and Ben had not happened, then I would have been sure, it's a kiss of joy. But the amount of tension between the two during the sequel trilogy, there was something. It definitely felt like a more romantic thing. And I'm just not a huge fan of it. You didn't need to. You had all of these little bits of nostalgia, so all the older people understood it and got it. Whereas you also had the new stuff. I'm just not a huge fan of this one. And it really sucks because you go in and, they advertise it as an absolutely epic story. And you want it to be epic. You don't want to have the last episode of 9. You don't want the 9th one to kind of just be a sputter out. But that's kind of what it did. 2 3/4 stars is what I'm giving The Rise of Skywalker. It just did not live up to the hype. It just rounded it off in such a nice little way. And they said, here's your little present, everyone who enjoyed Star Wars for the last 40 years. Here you go. And it just wasn't what should have happened. Want more? Check out chrismoviereviews.com. Follow me on Instagram and Reddit. Sign up for the newsletter and submit a user comment for me to read. And don't forget to like and subscribe.